I never imagined that the woman I loved, the woman I trusted with my heart and my life, could betray me in the way she did. My wife Meera and I had been married for 8 years. Our life wasn't perfect, what marriage ever is, but I thought it was stable, secure, and full of mutual respect. I worked hard to provide for our family, gave her space to pursue her dreams, and loved her genuinely, without conditions. I thought love was enough. I was wrong. The first hint of something amiss came in the form of subtle changes. Late nights at work, unexplained phone calls that she answered in hushed tones, sudden secretive behavior. I tried to ignore it at first, telling myself that trust was the foundation of our marriage. But deep down, a gnawing suspicion began to grow, one that I could no longer suppress. One evening, I came home earlier than usual from work. The house was unusually quiet. As I approached our bedroom, I heard voices, low, intimate, familiar. My heart pounded. I peeked through the slightly ajar door and froze. There she was, Meera in the arms of another man, her laughter and whispers betraying the intimacy she shared with someone else. Shock, anger, and disbelief collided inside me. My mind went blank for a moment. I didn't move, didn't speak. I just watched as the woman I loved violated every promise she had ever made. The days that followed were unbearable. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Anger and betrayal burned through me like wildfire. But as the initial shock faded, a darker thought emerged. Revenge. Not the reckless kind, not something I would regret later, but calculated, precise, and unforgettable. I began quietly gathering information. I followed her subtly, keeping records of meetings, texts, and phone calls. I documented everything, making sure that no detail escaped my notice. The man she was seeing, Rohan, was everything I suspected: arrogant, greedy, and dismissive of consequences. They were careless in their passion, leaving traces of their affair everywhere. Once I had everything I needed, I made my move. I confronted Meera one evening after she returned from a work dinner. I didn't yell, I didn't cry. I simply smiled, the kind of calm smile that masks a storm. I showed her the evidence: texts, photos, timestamps, locations. Her face drained of color. For the first time, she saw the consequences of her choices reflected in someone else's eyes. Mine. I trusted you, I said softly. I loved you, and you threw it all away. Tears streamed down her face, but I wasn't satisfied yet. The real revenge wasn't exposure, it was humiliation. I contacted Rohan, cleverly revealing to him that I knew everything about their affair, subtly planting doubt about his own loyalty and reputation. I made sure the news reached their mutual friends and colleagues without making it public in a humiliating way. It was a quiet storm, but one that left them both destabilized. I didn't want to destroy her life entirely, though she deserved it. But I wanted her to feel the weight of betrayal, the loneliness and fear she had inflicted upon me. I began reclaiming my life, focusing on my work, my health, and my mental strength. I let her see me thriving without her, watching her scramble to salvage her dignity, realizing that I had moved on faster than she ever anticipated. Weeks later, she approached me begging for forgiveness, offering excuses and promising change. But I had already made my decision. Forgiveness wasn't about letting her off the hook. It was about knowing that she had paid a price she could never forget. I reminded her gently but firmly that trust, once broken, is almost impossible to restore. She left that day, devastated, stripped of the false sense of security she had enjoyed for years. Life, ironically, became simpler after that. I rebuilt myself, focusing on what truly mattered: honesty, self-respect, and genuine love from people who valued me. Meera's betrayal taught me that some people are incapable of appreciating loyalty until it's gone, and some mistakes carry consequences that no apology can erase. The hardest lesson I learned was this: revenge doesn't have to be loud or vindictive to hurt. It can be quiet, precise, and permanent. And when executed with clarity and patience, it leaves a mark far deeper than anger or shouting ever could. I caught my wife on the hot seat, and I made sure she understood exactly what betrayal costs. In the end, I didn't just survive her affair, I thrived despite it. And that perhaps was the most devastating part of all for her.